Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to dissect the anatomy of a truly modern tech expert. And to do that, we're using one person as our blueprint, Asim Zahid. His career path is, well, it's kind of like a roadmap for what it really takes to be at the top of the tech world right now. So to get the full picture, let's just start with what he's up to today.
Right now, his title is Senior Software Engineer. He's building these really complex commercial systems for a US-based company called Diddo. Now, for most people, a high-level engineering gig like this, that's the career goal, the peak. But for Asim, it's really just one piece of a much bigger puzzle.
Because, get this, right before taking on this engineering role, he was a research scientist. But not just any research. He was completely focused on cybersecurity at a company called StrikeReady. We're talking about building threat intelligence platforms, using advanced AI on cyber data. A totally different world, and a super specialized one at that.
And just to add one more wild layer to all this, there's this number. He's also a dual Kaggle expert. If you don't know, Kaggle is like the Olympics for data scientists. This ranking puts him in the top 0.002% of all competitors on the planet. And that's not a job title, right? That's a verified competitive stamp of elite skill in data and machine learning.
So, this brings us to the big question, doesn't it? A senior engineer building massive systems, a cyber researcher fighting digital threats, and an elite data competitor. How on earth do all these pieces fit together? How does one person get so good at so many different complex things?
Well, the answer points to a new kind of expert, what you might call a modern tech polymath. And this isn't about just being a jack of all trades who knows a little about a lot. No, this is about strategically building deep expertise in different areas and, crucially, knowing how to connect them. And the best way to understand this polymath idea is by looking at breadth versus depth. You've probably heard of this model before, the T-shaped professional. Think of a capital T. You've got that broad horizontal bar of knowledge across the top, and it's supported by these deep vertical pillars of very specific expertise. Let's see what that actually looks like.
Okay, so this chart of his research, this is that horizontal bar of the T in action. You can see his focus isn't just siloed in one little area. Nope. He has this really balanced portfolio of work across computer vision, cybersecurity, and natural language processing. This isn't just dabbling for fun. This is the deliberate construction of a wide foundation across multiple high-value fields.
And that breadth, it goes beyond just the technical stuff. It's about leadership, too. Back in 2019, he founded a Google Developer Student Club to help other students connect theory with the real world. A year later, he's an AWS Educate Ambassador. This shows you he's not just driven to learn for himself. He's driven to share that knowledge and build up entire communities.
Okay, so that was the breadth. Now let's dive into one of those deep vertical pillars of the T. We're going to start with his work in architecting absolutely massive data systems.
At the e-commerce company Diddo, the system he architected handles 100 million products every single day. And where does all that data come from? Oh, just nearly 500,000 different online stores. This is not just writing code, you know. This is designing the industrial-scale backbone for a huge data operation.
And that kind of deep expertise, it has a real tangible impact. He didn't just build the system, he made it better, a lot better. By totally redesigning a database, he slashed the query time by 500%. For you and me, the end user, that means the app goes from sluggish to lightning fast. That's where the deep dive really pays off.
We see that exact same architectural depth in his cybersecurity work. Here, he led the development of a threat landscape platform. He designed the whole flow, from top to bottom. You've got data getting pulled in by over 120 crawlers, then it's pushed through these complex processing pipelines, stored in specialized systems, and all along the way, he's guaranteeing the data quality. It's that complete end-to-end vision.
And look, this practical skill isn't just guesswork. It's built on deep theoretical knowledge. He's actually built systems using both the Lambda architecture, which handles batch and real-time data separately, and the more modern, stream-focused Kappa architecture. Understanding the trade-offs and knowing when to use which one, that shows you he doesn't just know how to build things, he knows why he's building them a certain way.
All right, let's pivot. We're going to jump to the second vertical pillar of his T.
We're moving from massive data engineering into the wild world of cutting-edge computer vision research. We're talking a completely different set of problems here.
For his final university project, he decided to tackle something that sounds, well, basically impossible: tracking a soccer ball in 3D using just a single camera. Now think about how hard this is. The ball is just a tiny speck, maybe 6 or 8 pixels wide. It literally vanishes for a frame or two. It's blurry, it looks like the head's in the crowd. And the kicker? There was no public data set for this problem. None. He had to create his own from scratch.
So how do you even begin to solve a problem like that? You do it methodically. You don't just guess. He didn't just pick a model and hope it worked. He systematically tested and benchmarked different approaches, everything from Siam mask to deep sort, before finally landing on YOLO v5 because it was the best for real-time performance. That's the scientific method, applied directly to deep learning.
So we've seen the what, this incredible breadth and this incredible depth of skill. But that just leads to the bigger question, right? How? What's the foundation that lets a person build this kind of wide-ranging expertise?
I think this quote from his own bio just says it all. The tone is kind of playful, brewing up algorithms. But it reveals his core identity. He sees these fundamental ingredients: math, code, data, and he gets excited about mixing them together to make something real, something that actually powers business applications. And this isn't just talk. His curiosity is out there for everyone to see. His public GitHub profile is just a goldmine of different projects. A blockchain intelligence platform, sure. A pharmacy management system, why not? Building neural networks completely from scratch just to see how they tick. This is what passionate, continuous learning actually looks like in the wild.
So, when you put this all together, what can we take away from it? What does the anatomy of this one expert tell us about the blueprint for the expert of tomorrow?
It all comes back to this one powerful model, the T-shaped professional. Because the key insight here is that just being super specialized in one thing isn't enough anymore. The real value, the thing that lets you truly innovate, comes from combining that deep vertical expertise with that broad horizontal knowledge that lets you connect ideas across different fields.
Asim is the living embodiment of this. He isn't just a software engineer or just a research scientist. He's the combination of all of them: an industrial-scale architect, a fundamental research scientist, and a world-class data competitor. And the most important part is that each one of these skills makes the others so much more powerful.
And that leaves us with one final thought to chew on. What new things become possible when the same person who can architect a system for 100 million data points also has the research skill to invent a whole new way to analyze them? What emerges when one mind combines these diverse, powerful skills? That, right there, is the blueprint for modern innovation. Thanks for joining us on The Explainer.